You know, there are moments in life that define you: graduation, marriage, retirement, and then there's the moment a woman named Kerren tells you that jungle gyms are visually aggressive. I wish I were kidding, but this is the world I live in, or more specifically, the neighborhood where Kerren, the HOA Queen of Pittyville Heights, unofficial title fully embraced, rules with an iron clipboard and the personality of unbuttered toast. Now don't get me wrong, when I moved to Pittyville, I knew there'd be rules. I'm not a rebel without a cause. I'm more of a rebel with a lawn chair and a mimosa, but when I spent my hard-earned savings on a custom wooden jungle gym for my grandkids, complete with a slide, monkey bars, climbing wall, and yes, even a tire swing, gasp. I did not expect to find a neon orange HOA citation duct taped to my mailbox 3 days later. I kid you not, the envelope had glitter on it. Glitter. It was like Kerren wanted her passive aggression to sparkle. The letter inside was a full 2 pages, typed, single-spaced, and full of words like aesthetic dissonance and communal harmony disruption. She even cited Article 7, subsection D of the HOA handbook, which I'm convinced she sleeps with under her pillow, stating that play structures over 4 feet in height must be approved by the board and must not obstruct visual cohesion with neighboring properties. Visual cohesion, my left slipper. What she really meant was, I don't like seeing children enjoy themselves unless they're knitting or playing quiet chess under my watchful eye. Now, most people would sigh, take it down, maybe complain to a few friends over coffee and move on, but not me. No. See, I've spent 67 years on this planet, 43 of them married to a man who thought laundry does itself, and the rest learning that subtlety is for people who still care what others think. So instead of dismantling my jungle gym, I did what any rational, completely mature adult would do. I upped the ante. If Kerren didn't like a 6-foot jungle gym, what she really wouldn't like was an 80-foot ninja warrior course. You think I'm exaggerating? Honey, I had blueprints. I called my son-in-law, who's an engineer and moonlights as a CrossFit addict, and I said, Brad, I want monkey bars, balance beams, wall climbs, rope swings, and I want it to look like American Ninja Warrior crashed into a playground. He thought I was joking. He laughed. That was his first mistake. By the following weekend, we were pouring concrete in the backyard, right between the rose garden and the bird bath Kerren said was too reflective. I had neighbors peeking over fences like nosy squirrels, some in horror, some in awe, all in lawn chairs by day 3. And as we hoisted up the 12-foot warped wall, painted neon green by the way, because visual cohesion is a myth, I felt a sense of purpose I hadn't felt since the great Costco coupon dispute of 2013. The best part, the grandkids thought Grandma had lost it, but in the best way possible. This is cooler than Chuck E. Cheese and the trampoline park put together. One of them screamed as he launched himself across the zip line, and just as I was about to enjoy a well-earned iced tea from the viewing deck, yes, I had a viewing deck, Kerren showed up, clipboard in hand, pearls tighter than usual, and a look of righteous fury that could sour milk. This is not a playground, she gasped. This is an obstacle course. It's a liability. And I, bless my sarcastic soul, leaned over the railing and said, exactly, not a jungle gym. Not banned, and I winked. She nearly swallowed her tongue. But the true story, the tale of ninja nets, surprise HOA inspections, nighttime obstacle training, and the time a drone got tangled in the cargo net. Oh, that's only just getting started. Now, here's the thing about building an 80-foot Ninja Warrior course in a suburban backyard. It draws attention. The kind of attention usually reserved for alien landings or when Jim from 2 doors down accidentally backs his RV into the community fountain again. Within days, I was the talk of Pittyville Heights. Kids were climbing rope walls like caffeinated squirrels. Teens were timing each other on the agility ladders. And retirees, my people, were lined up with folding chairs, lemonade, and unspoken dreams of their own stunt careers. Even Martha from the book club came out of knitting retirement just to give the balance beam a whirl. But naturally, for every delighted neighbor reliving their American Gladiator fantasy, there was Kerren. Oh, Kerren. Kerren. She returned with reinforcements, 2 clipboard-wielding minions from the HOA board, one of whom, I'm fairly certain, hasn't smiled since the Reagan administration, and began what I can only describe as a full-scale backyard inquisition. They measured, they squinted. One of them even brought a spirit level, as though I dared offend the sacred laws of horizontal stability. And of course, Kerren arrived in a matching beige pantsuit ensemble, the kind of outfit that screamed, I have no joy, only bylaws. This is an egregious misuse of private property, she hissed, as though I'd opened a nightclub instead of encouraging physical activity among grandchildren and arthritic neighbors. I told her, as sweetly as a rattlesnake on chamomile tea, that nowhere in the HOA handbook did it say obstacle courses were forbidden. Just jungle gyms over 4 feet tall. This is clearly an athletic installation, I said, gesturing grandly to the climbing net and swinging logs like Vanna White on performance-enhancing drugs. Not a jungle gym. I believe Article 7, subsection D, has a loophole the size of your ego. That apparently didn't go over well. The very next day, I received an emergency citation taped to my garden flamingo, informing me that the course would be subjected to a compliance hearing, and that until then, no unauthorized physical activity was to occur. Naturally, I complied in the most creative way possible by organizing a silent obstacle run. That's right, no talking, just squeaky shoes, heavy breathing, and a Bluetooth speaker playing instrumental spy movie themes as my grandkids tiptoed across balance beams like ninjas in stealth mode. Kerren, lurking behind her hedges with binoculars like a suburban Bond villain, called in noise complaints anyway. It's the principle, she said, when confronted by 3 bored cops who left with popsicles and selfies on the warped wall. But the final straw? Oh, that came on a Saturday morning when my granddaughter Mia, 7 years old, missing both front teeth, wearing a superhero cape, and more confidence than Congress, shouted from the top of the warped wall, I am the ninja queen of Pityville, and I, beaming with pride, waved from the sidelines with my iced coffee and said, long may you reign. That declaration must have echoed into Kerren's soul like an insult to beige upholstery, because not 24 hours later, she initiated a formal HOA amendment proposal. Yes, a proposal to ban all structures designed for recreational athletic performance exceeding 3 feet in elevation. 3 feet. That's barely a step stool at this point. The gloves were off. I went to the next HOA meeting in full ninja gear, black turtleneck, sweatband, and fingerless gloves, and presented a 42-slide PowerPoint titled The Benefits of Backyard Agility Installations for Cognitive and Physical Longevity Among Senior Populations. It had charts, it had GIFs, it had testimonials from my grandkids and Mr. Henderson from 2 streets over, who swore the rope ladder cured his vertigo. Kerren tried to interrupt, but I accidentally played a video of her yelling at a sprinkler on loop for 30 seconds. The room voted down her proposal in a landslide, but oh, the war was not over. That night, a drone, clearly new, clearly not flown by a professional, began circling my backyard like a buzzing metal hawk. I watched from the porch as it attempted to document unauthorized elevation. My neighbor Doris, bless her soul, used her garden rake like a jousting lance and brought it down into the koi pond. Oops, she said, sipping tea with pinky raised. Kerren came storming down the next morning demanding access to retrieve HOA equipment. I told her I only recognized sovereign airspace and suggested a fishing pole. She did not find that funny. Meanwhile, the ninja course flourished. I added more elements, a rotating log purchased secondhand from a lumberjack-themed escape room, a tunnel crawl made from repurposed dryer tubes, and a foam pit filled with pool noodles and vengeance. It became a local sensation. Someone posted a video on TikTok, Granny Warrior Course, and suddenly I was getting interview requests. A local reporter showed up, asked how I came up with the idea, and I looked into the camera with my best wise elder expression and said, sometimes it takes a ridiculous rule to unleash a righteous rebellion. Kerren tried to shut it all down again, citing everything from insurance risk to moral erosion. But every time she filed a complaint, I hosted a fundraiser or senior fitness showcase. I had Zumba classes on the cargo net, Tai Chi under the rope swings. We even did a bingo run. Numbers were shouted at each obstacle, and the first to complete a bingo row while surviving the course won a commemorative headband. HOA tried to hit me with cease and desists, but I hit back with freedom of movement, wellness statistics, and occasionally interpretive dance. Eventually, I received a certified letter from the HOA's lawyer warning of excessive non-compliance. I framed it right next to my best backyard warrior trophy that Mia made out of a Pringles can and unmatched socks. And through it all, every shriek from Kerren, every shrill phone call to the HOA board only made me more committed. Because this wasn't just about monkey bars anymore. It was about principle. It was about joy. It was about proving that just because you turn 65 doesn't mean you can't still climb, swing, and occasionally launch yourself into a pit of foam noodles with the pride of a gymnast and the spite of a suburban revolutionary. The ninja war wasn't over, not by a long shot, but I was winning one obstacle at a time. They say every hero's journey must come to an end, but no one ever tells you how that end involves a very irate woman named Kerren tripping over a pool noodle during an HOA emergency inspection. I wish I were exaggerating, but fate, it turns out, has a glorious sense of humor. It all started the morning after my backyard was featured in the local paper. Headline: Ninja Grandma takes down HOA tyranny, one obstacle at a time. There was a full color spread of me mid-swing on the rope ladder, grinning like I just beat bureaucracy with biceps. Naturally, this did not sit well with Kerren, who was already frothing over my disregard for structural unity and community cohesion. But the article had sparked something beautiful. People from all over the neighborhood, and a few from outside it, began showing up. Not to complain, to participate. Kids, parents, even a sweet couple from the retirement complex down the road who hadn't moved that fast since the moon landing. I had to put up a sign that read, "Waiver signing station next to the lemonade cooler." That's when Kerren made her final move, a full-scale HOA tribunal. Yes, an actual tribunal, with folding chairs, nameplates, and a gavel I'm pretty sure she bought just for the occasion. She even wore a sash that said compliance chair. It was beige. Of course, the hearing was to be held in the community center, which I refused to attend unless I could bring a slideshow, my attorney, a retired mall Santa with a law degree, and the balance beam for dramatic effect. They agreed, reluctantly. I walked in wearing my ninja headband and a matching t-shirt that said, "Come at me, Kerren," in glitter letters. The tribunal began with Kerren presenting 32 printed photographs of my backyard, some clearly taken with night vision, followed by a PowerPoint titled "Descent into Chaos, a Case Study in Suburban Anarchy." It was mostly clip art and bullet points about noise levels and rogue foam pieces. Then it was my turn. I dimmed the lights, queued up my slideshow titled "Community Cardio and the Spirit of Freedom," and let the images speak for themselves. Kids high-fiving at the finish line, seniors doing yoga on the warped wall, and a video of a spontaneous backyard conga line that ended with my grandson face-planting into the ball pit. The room erupted in laughter, except Kerren, who looked like someone had just insulted her pet ficus. Then came the final vote. HOA members went down the line, and one by one they sided with me. Not because I was right, which I was, but because I had something Kerren could never manufacture. Joy. Pure, unfiltered, community-powered joy. Even the cranky treasurer who once fined me for overly cheerful wind chimes voted in my favor, citing improved morale and lower neighbor complaints since the course was built. Kerren stormed out before the vote ended, knocking over the complimentary cookie tray and swearing under her breath about mob rule. I, of course, picked up a cookie and waved her off with a powdered sugar smile. But wait. The best was yet to come. 2 weeks later, during what was supposed to be a routine compliance follow-up, read thinly veiled sabotage attempt, Kerren snuck into my backyard to take more photos. She didn't count on the surprise birthday party being held that afternoon for my youngest grandson, streamers everywhere, confetti cannons at the ready, and a gauntlet challenge just beginning. She stepped onto the foam path to get a better angle, slipped on a rogue juice box, and went flying into the noodle pit like a beige torpedo. The entire party froze, then erupted. Kids cheered, balloons popped, and someone yelled, "Ninja down!" I helped her out. I'm not heartless, but not before someone got a picture. That picture went viral. Caption: HOA lady meets her match. Meme status within hours. Now Kerren avoids me like I'm contagious. The HOA stopped sending citations, and my backyard, officially recognized by the town as a private recreational structure of community value. We even got a little plaque. But more importantly, we got our joy back. I still host weekly obstacle runs. Ninja Thursdays, we call them. Seniors get early access, kids get free popsicles, and every so often, someone will bring a new challenge to add to the course. Last week, a mini trampoline into a soft net catch. I nailed it twice. Because here's the thing, when life gives you a clipboard-wielding tyrant with a passion for power and a hatred of monkey bars, you build something they can't control. You build fun, you build community, you build a ninja warrior course so fantastic, so ridiculous, that it becomes untouchable. Kerren wanted conformity, she got confetti. She wanted silence, she got laughter. She wanted control, she got grandma doing front flips into foam with a headband that says HOA WHO, and I wouldn't have it any other way.